Masechet Yevamot Daf 59A1. We are by the Mishnah. Mishnah says on Nuntet Amud Aleph 59A1. The Mishnah says Kohen Gadol lo yisa almana. A Kohen Gadol may not marry an almana. Ben almana min ha'erusin, ben almana min ha'nesuin. It does not help whether it's an almana min ha'erusin or min ha'nesuin. Velo isa et abogeret, and he cannot get married to a bogeret. Remember that a bogeret is, that's what we just learned, right? Yesterday. Yes, he says over here. From then she becomes a na'ara for 6 months, and then she becomes a bogeret. Okay, fine. So Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon, machshirim b'bogeret. Says Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shimon, no, what are you talking about? She's not allowed to get married to an almanah, but she may get married to a bogeret. Says the Gemara, the Mishnah, velo yisad mukatetz. He's not allowed to get married to a mukatetz. Mukatetz means that you have a girl that she lost her virginity through a piece of wood that got stuck or got hurt her. Right? It's an expression. It doesn't literally mean only that. It could mean anything. Right? Nowadays, women could lose theirs with bicycling, dancing. They could lose it with tampons. Right? They could lose it with many different things. So therefore, even if a woman came and she lost her virginity without, for any reason whatsoever, even if it's mukatetz, it was because of a piece of wood that went and hit her, or whatever it is. Doesn't matter what happened. That's it. Right? He cannot get married to her. That is the Mishnah. Tanu Rabbanan. Yeah, Tanu Rabbanan. We learned the Rabraita. Almana lo yikach. It says by a Kohen Gadol, right, that he's not allowed to take an almana. Ben almana min ha'erusin, ben almana min ha'nesuin. Doesn't matter whether it's going to be an almana from the erusin or nesuin. There's no difference. Meaning the Torah did not differentiate between one another. Almana is an almana. She was only from the erusin, and therefore he never actually lived with her. No, that's it. Both. Says the Gemara, well, pshita, she's still called an almana. At the end of the day, she still has a terminology. What do I care whether she lived with her husband or not? She is an almana. So says the Gemara, no. Ma'u de tema, I would have thought to say Leila, almana mi Tamar. Maybe you're going to learn almana from Tamar. Now by Tamar, it was also written that she was almana bet Avia, right? She was an almana, Tamar. Remember, Tamar was the daughter-in-law of Yehuda. She was married to Ed, then she was married to Onan, and then she was supposed to get married to Shelah, but then she went with Yehuda. But she was an almana. So maybe I would learn from over there. And therefore it says, Male alam in Nisuin, just like over there, it's from the marriage. Afkan, so to Yemin in Nisuin. And therefore, you would tell me that if it's from the Erusin, it's not considered an almana. So he says, no, Kamashmanan comes to teach you that we don't learn almana from Tamar, because that was the chidush, and we don't learn from Tamar, and therefore an almana is zeu. It's always an almana. It doesn't matter what happened. Meaning, in order for a woman to be called an almana, you don't need it to be from the marriage. It could be already from the engagement. Remember, engagement is the time of the Torah engagement, not nowadays, right? The real engagement. Okay, fine. So says the Gemara, ve'ima achanami. But maybe be'emet in achanami. Maybe be'emet almana is only from the nisuin. And where do you learn it from? From Tamar. Says the Gemara, no. Dumya de grusha. It's the exact same thing like a grusha. At the end of the day, a Kohen Gadol cannot go married to a grusha, correct? Now he says, ma grusha ben min nisuin min erusin. Af almana ben min erusin min nisin. Just like by the grusha, there's no difference between from the erusin or nisuin, meaning a divorced woman. She's divorced. I don't care if she got divorced the same night of the wedding and immediately right after the wedding. And by the way, this actually happens, right? There's some, what? No, not only in Vegas. There's sometimes even by Haredim, right? There's even by Haredim. Yeah, there's even a Haredim. Here, talking about is that, do you know that by Ashkenazim, they make Tanaim. What are Tanaim exactly? Tanaim are conditions, right? Conditions. They break a plate and everything. Do you know that sometimes to break the Tanaim is so powerful that if right now they already got the engagement of nowadays and they did the Tanaim and they broke the plate and now they're going towards marriage, right? And let's say all of a sudden, a month before the wedding, they say, you know what? That's it, Gamanu. Do you know that some of these people, they will get married and they'll get divorced on the same night because they went through the marriage in order not to break the Tanaim, just to show you how powerful it is.
Breaking the place.
That's the Tanaim.
Breaking the
The Ashkenazim.
No, I mean Tanaim.
No,
Tanaim.
The Ashkenazim, they do when they get engaged or divorced.
So it says the Gemara, Dumia de Grusha, it's just like a Grusha, just like the Grusha, it doesn't matter whether it's from the Nesuin or the Erusin. So to Almana, there's no difference between Erusin and Nesuin. Next, Kohen Gadol cannot get married to a Bogeret. Remember, Bogeret was from 12 and a half onwards. So he says the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned, and Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, they permitted it. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in Braita, Vehu Isha B'Ftulei Yikach. What does it mean that he has to take a virgin? Prat Bogeret. This comes to exclude a Bogeret. Shekalu la Betulea, that is finished off her Betulim. Divrei Rabbi Meir. These are the words of Rabbi Meir, which means like this. Why is it that by a Bogeret there's no Ta'anat Betulim? There's no Ta'anat Betulim is because even though it could be that the Makom is still Tsar, which means that it's not completely open, the area, but the virginity in itself, or this hymen, could actually go away. Why? Many reasons. So we already mentioned before. It could be dancing. It could be even eating spicy, by the way. Even eating spicy could have an effect. It could be putting on tampons. She's going to the pool. What? Apparently, if I remember me. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Elazar and Shimon machshidim bebogeret. Rabbi Elazar and Shimon, they say that he's allowed to get married to a bogeret. What is the machloke between Rabbi Elazar and Shimon and Rabbi Meir? Rabbi Meir savar betula afilu bemiksat betuli mashma. Meaning when it says vehu isha b'ftula yikach, it means that it's mashma that he's allowed to take her as long as there's still something of the betulim. For example, Abu Geret, because there's still something, right? So he says betuleha adika kol betulim. Meaning, if it would have just said right vehu isha betula, right? So then it could have been she's still a virgin, but she's got something left. There's something still there. The second that it didn't say betula, it says betuleha. So then it has to be kol betulim. Has to be everything there. Meaning she has to be 100%.
That's what it means. That's what it means. Betulea, the shtebet, הפרק הראשון, betulea בשני הדרכים.
I don't know. That's later on. 1 minute. No. You're in the next one. You're in the next one. That's beef tulea. 1 minute. 1 minute. Shwai. Fine. 1 minute. 1 minute. One more time. Right? I'm reading. I thought I didn't understand, but then I went ahead and I just saw that you're the next one. One more time. Betula is even b'miksat. What does it mean miksat? Meaning, if it would have only just said behu isha betula yikach, so therefore, as long as she still has something of her virginity left, it's going to be okay. If it says betuleha, it needs the entire virginity, which means that it's going to exclude a bogeret she'em petach rachma tsar kemo shaya. Meaning, beforehand, the petach richma, the opening of the uterus, right, was much more tsar. Now bogeret, it opens up a little bit because, right, the body is changing. So he says, bivtuleha. This is what John Jack said before. Kedarka in, shelo kedarka lo, which means that it's only kedarka, which is going to become psula to the Kohen Gadol. But if it's going to be shelo kedarka, she's not going to be prohibited to a Kohen Gadol, even though she's considered a be'ula. A be'ula. Be'ula because she actually did it shelo kedarka, but she's technically speaking, she's still a betula, mitzad the betulim. Be'ula means that's the Gemara of Elazar Shimon hold betula is already a betula shlema mashma. Meaning not like Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir learned betula was b'mitzat. Betuleha was a call. Okay, and then you bivtuleha kedarka shelo kedarka. Now they come and they don't say no. Betula is betula shlema. Betuleha is even mitzat betulim. Bivtuleha achiu kol betulea kayamin ben kedarka ben shelo kedarka. It has to be both from the front and from the back that she's 100% a betula. Amar Rav Yehuda Marav nivala shelo kedarka pesula lekiuna. So here the Rav Yehuda Marav is giving a psak, and he's saying a woman that has relations shelo kedarka, not the normal way of relations, right? still she becomes psula to the kiuna. She cannot get married to a kohen. Okay. So says the Gemara, Mativ Rava comes and he asks the following question. Velot Yelisha. We're talking about now an Na'ara betula pnuya. We're talking about an Na'ara betula, right? A girl that she was a betula. What happened was he comes and he has to get married to her. This is talking about an anusa, which means that a man came and he violated her. So he has to stay married to her. He's not allowed to divorce her. So says the Gemara, but that's only if it's a man, if it's a woman, which is permitted to him. So prat le'almana le'kohen gadol, v'grusha v'chalutza le'kohen idiot. So this comes to exclude an almana to a kohen gadol and a grusha v'chalutza to a kohen idiot. That means that if he came and he violated them, right, he does not stay married to her because it has to be veloti elisha, a woman which is fitting to be his wife. And obviously an almana to a kohen gadol. So if a kohen gadol, yes, you have to remember that during the second temple, there was more than 200 and I don't remember how many Kohanim Gedolim. And the reason why is because every single year, the Roman government were the ones in charge of appointing the Kohen Gadol. It had nothing to do with the Jews appointing them. It was the Roman government. So anybody that paid the most money and the most bribes, right, and he had the best campaign, he became the Kohen Gadol. Now, you know very well, being a Kohen Gadol, every Kippur, you have to go to Kodesh Kodashim. They would come in and they wouldn't come out. They used to pull them out with the rope, basically. You know, and they used to pull them out with the rope because they would die. So imagine, and every single time they had to get a new Kohen Gadol, So they said that in the 420 years of the Bet HaMikdash, of the second Bet HaMikdash, right? Remember that Shimon HaTzadik was 40 years, and I don't remember, they made the entire calculation. We did this Kimara somewhere. Remember, it was Shimon HaTzadik, it was after Shimon HaTzadik. So Shimon HaTzadik was 40 years, and then there was, I don't remember how many other ones. There was, and then what happened is that all of a sudden, you had every single year, half a year, you had another Kohen Gadol. So something crazy. Now, these Kohen Gadol, you think they were people who eat at Shammai? It could be, I don't remember exactly where the Gemara was, but the Gemara mentioned it. So says the Gemara, Hechidami, what's the case exactly? If you're going to tell me that she was sakid b'kedarka in the normal fashion, so Maya Mishum Almana, what do I care about now in Almana, right, to the Kohen Gadol? So she's a beula. What do I care now about that she's an almana? Even without almana, she's a beula. Elalav, rather, shelo kedarka. It has to be that it was done shelo kedarka. Umishum almana in mishum beula lo. So it's only because it's an almana, yes. Because of beula, lo. Right? So says the Gemara, Nun Tetamubet 59b, Hamani. So who is this? Rabbi Midhi. It's Rabbi Midhi. Rav de Amar Rabbi Lazar. And Rav says, like Rabbi Lazar. That means basically, who's the brighter that says that Biyash Lo Kedarka does not prohibit the Kohen Gadol to marry her? That was Shitat Rabbi Meir, that we already learned it. But Rabbi Yehuda named Rav holds like Rabbi Lazar that argues on Rabbi Meir, and he says that it does prohibit her even Shelo Kedarka. So says the Gemara, 1 second. If you're going to tell me it's Rabbi Lazar, Ma'idya Mishum Beula. What do I care about Beula? Typically, Davel is Zonah. At the end of the day, there's an isur because of zonah, not only because of beula. Why? Because there was a beila be'ones. So the second that there was a beila be'ones, she becomes a zonah, and she's a surah to the kohen idiot. Not because of the beula. I don't care about beula now. Already she's a zonah. Ta'amar Rabbi Lazar, says Rabbi Lazar, panuya ba'al pnuya shelo l'shem ishut, asa zonah. According to Shitat Rabbi Lazar, the second you have boyfriend and girlfriend, yeah? You know, sometimes they have it in schools and things like that, yeah? Boyfriend, girlfriend. And, right, all of a sudden, right, you have panui, haba ala pnuya, and it's shalom l'shem yishut. It's not for marriage. They're having fun. Zona. She's called a zona. Not only because of the action that she did. She's a surah lekohen. A surah lekohen. She's a zona. Isha zona v'chalala lo yikachu. Nothing. Rabbi Lazar. The shitat Rabbi Lazar. So Amar Rav Yosef says Rav Yosef, no. You know what the case was? Where Rav says, Beula kilo kedarka is psula only to the Kohen Gadol. Shenivala shelo kedarka lebehema. That means we're not only talking about shelo kedarka to a human. Shelo kedarka lebehema. Tehatam, that over there, mishum beula ika. There's a beula. She's a beula now. She's not a betula anymore. But mishum zona leka. She's not a zona. Because biyat znut is only with a human being and not with an animal. Biyat znut, exactly. Bestiality is not znut, right? Chayev mita and everything that you want, right? But it's not znut, okay? So Amaleh Abai comes, he said, what are you talking about? Bimanavshach. He says, I beula havia, so nanami havia. If she's a beula, she's a zonah. The zonah lo havia, so beula no. If she's not a zonah, she's not a beula. What's going on? So says the Gemara, V'chi teima, now if you're going to tell me, the havia mukatet shelo kedarka. What about mukatet shelo kedarka? Which means, what happens if a woman had her betulim taken out through a piece of wood, be'oto makom? She's also asura to a kohen gadol. Okay? So therefore he says that be'oto midah gam mukat etz shelo kedarka is also psula to a kohen gadol. So if so, en lecha isha kshera lekuna shelo nasu mukat etz el betzron. He says what? How many times does it happen that a woman becomes prohibited to a kohen because of a tzror? Nowadays, Baruch Hashem, for the invention of paper, of tissues or of toilet paper. In the olden days, how would they go to the washroom? How would they clean themselves? With avanim. There's a whole question on Minchot Shabbat. They used to designate stones in the Bet HaKiseh in order for them to use it. And then they have to know which type of stone, smooth, not smooth. So that way a person wouldn't get a hemorrhoids and all these other things also. So they used to use a stone. So if a woman's going to come and use a stone to wipe herself, right, and she's putting it shelo kedarka, but that's where obviously she's wiping, right, all of a sudden now you have a problem. Because now she could actually put that inside if it goes too deep inside of her through the back part. So shelo kedarka, in the back part. So he comes and he says, so therefore you're not gonna have a woman that she would be ever kosher to a kohen gadol. No, but that's what we're just saying. That means you'll never have that case. Because all she needs to do is she has to put it a little bit too far up in the back part. The Gamanu Kadish, she can never go with a Kohen Gadol. So no woman could go with a Kohen Gadol. So says the Gemara, no. Rabbi Zera, what does Rabbi Zera say? Rabbi Zera says the Rav is talking about a Mima'enet, a Yitumak Tana. That remember that it was the mother or the brother getting her married. Remember, Mima'enet is only with the mother and brother, because if it's with the father getting her married, you cannot do miyun, you cannot reject or renounce the marriage. It's only the mother and the brother doing the marriage. And then what happened was like this, that this woman is not considered a zonah. Why? It wasn't a zonah, it was a marriage, right? But she's not considered a grusha. She's muteret to a kohen idiot, right? And she's not an almanah also. So in this case, even though she was nivala leba'ala, only shelo kedarka, she's only considered a be'ula, and she's not permitted to a kohen gadol. Meaning she's not considered a zonah. It wasn't znut. She wasn't considered a betula, but she's a beula though. Why is she beula? Was she look at that? Right? It was with her husband. So Amar Rabbi Shimi bar Chia nivala lebema keshera lekuna. Says Rabbi Shimi bar Chia, she has relations with an animal, right? Even kedarka, she's still kosher to the kohen. No. Says the Gemara. Actually, here it's mashma the yes, right? Yes, that's what it says here. There's a gimel here, but we would have to look it up. But it says we also learned in the Braita. Right? That means if she has relations with somebody that's not a man, which is basically an animal, that means even though she gets killed, she gets sekila. She goes, yeah, her and the animal. She's kshera to the keuna. Kiata Ravdimi, when Ravdimi came amar, maase beriva achat behitlu shaita mechabedet the bait, right? Urva kelev kufri me'achareh. Yichshira rav lekeuna. So there was a story with an Arab, right? An Arab, that she was cleaning the floor, and all of a sudden a dog came from behind. Right here it says it's a kelev gadol. Yeah, kelev gadol, right? And he had relations with her, shelo kedarka. So the kelev had relations with her, shelo kedarka. She was, sweeping the floor, or whatever it is. I guess she was on all four, right? And the kelev came, chora, and he went.
But you could see that.
So Amar Shmuel says, even the Kohen Gadol, not only just Kohen, because it said there in the Gemara, V'chshira Rabbi lekeuna, says Shmuel even for Kohen Gadol. B'mei Rabbi, Kohen Gadol hava, mihava. So ask the Gemara, one second. During the days of Rabbi, there was a Kohen Gadol. Then now you're going to tell me, right? He was talking about B'mei Rabbi. And Rabbi lived many years after the second destruction of Bet HaMikdash. So says the Gemara, Ela Ruya leKohen Gadol. She was fitting for a Kohen Gadol. Okay, so Amaleh Rava Mipazaki Ravashi says Rava Pazaki to Ravashi, Mena ha minta damur banan en znut lebema. How do we know this concept that there's no such thing as znut for a bema? How do we know there's no znut for a bema? How do you know this? So it says Gemara Dichtiv, it says in a pasuk, Lo tavi etnan zonam mchir kelev. You're not allowed to bring etnan zonah, which was like a present that you gave to the zonah mchir kelev. Utnan we learned in Tumura, etnan kelev. umchir zona mutarin. However, though, if you switch it, if you have a behema, right? If you have a behema which was given as a tashlum for a zona, or mechir zona, which is a behema which was given to acquire, right? The first one was tashlum zona in order for the kelev. And the other one was mechir zona for isha zona. Mutarin, it's going to be permitted to bring it as a korban. Shneimar, but it says in the pasuk, gam shnehem, shnayim velo arba'a, which means there's only two types of tashlumim which are prohibited to be as a korban. And those are the ones which are mentioned in Furash. There's another two which are permitted. So therefore, reviat behema, right? He says if it was considered znut, so then the tashlum for a woman to have relations with a dog is also considered an zona, and it wouldn't be permitted to bring as a korban. So the fact that you're permitted to bring it as a korban shows you that it's not considered a zona. It's not considered znut. Tana Rabbi, we also learned the Braita, anusat atzmo umfutat atzmo lo yisa. Even if it's going to be anusat atzmo umfutat atzmo, that means a Kohen Gadol came and he violated a woman or he seduced a woman, and now she's not a betula anymore. He cannot get married to her. The nasa, but if he did get married to her already, nasui. So then the nisui machal. Anusat chavron chatalo yisa. Nasa, if it's his friend that did it, meaning his friend came and he violated or seduced a woman. Now the Kohen Gadol wants to come and wants to get married to her. Yaakov says if he did get married to her, havlad halal. The vlad is a halal. It's not a kosher Kohen. Chachamim only vlad kasher, but the Chachamim say no, the vlad is still going to be kasher. Im nasa nasui. If he already got married to her, then it's already considered a marriage. Amaravu amarav says what's he to get? However, though he's obligated to get divorced. How? With the get. So then what does it mean then in nasa nasui? Right? What does that mean? Usually that means that he's allowed to continue staying married to her, not that he has to give her a get. So Amarav Yaakov says Yaakov, Lomar, to tell you, he does not pay, right? That means when he gets married to her, even though the marriage was beisur, the Kohen Gadol does not have to pay the knas. Meaning usually you have to pay the knas, and that's it. Here, the fact that he got married to her, so he doesn't have to pay the knas, but he's still obligated to get divorced. And then Melina, that we continue. Let's just continue to the two dots. Okay? So says the Gemara, the two dots is right now. Azar Rav Givia mi beketil. Went Rav Givia beketil. Amra l'shmata kamid Rav Ashi. He came and said this in front of Rav Ashi. Amarli came and he says, Veha Rav Yochanan Tamri Tarvayu. Says in Samech Hamud Aleph, 61. It says Rav Yochanan. Both of them said Bogeret Mukatetz Luisa. That means the Kohen Gadol is not allowed to get married even to a Bogeret, right? Which means that even if she was 100% a virgin and everything, but it just came out on its own, meaning that they start losing the virginity on its own, or even a Mukatetz. Nimnasa Nasui. Alma, so you see from here, Sofalio Bogeret Tachtav, she will still become a Bogeret under him. Sofalio Mukatetz Tachtav, and she'll become a Mukatetz through him, because at the end of the day, she will lose her virginity through him. So Hachanami, so 2 years, Sofalio Beula Tachtav. She's also going to be a Beula Tachtav, right? So therefore, he's coming and saying, so even so, they're still allowed to stay married. So if so, 2 years, even though he got married to her Beisur, why do you want to divorce her? Because it's Beula Tatzmo. At the end of the day, anyway, he's going to become Beula Tatzmo. So says the Gemara, Kashi, right? That's a good question. Meaning that mitzat tzvara, you should have left them married together. Okay, but that's just the Gemara finishes. Where are the two dots? And we continue tonight.